The stealthy Sir Jim Ratcliffe has snatched again, this time not from Pep Guardiola, not from Manchester City, but from London, from Arsenal, as Mikel Arteta has been left in shambles. Welcome to the United Sport, another one added to the winning team. My name is Webb. Like and share, subscribe. Guys, the review is bringing results. It is beginning to bring results we had not anticipated. After reviewing the medical department of Manchester United, remember it was clear. I think it didn't need a review for Man United to know that one of the biggest issues we had was the injuries last season. Now, Eric Ten Hag has been consistent saying injuries are part of the reasons why I have struggled to have a clear playing style with this team. My players keep falling off. He had over 30 injuries, over 30 defensive partnerships, and clearly they couldn't take him anywhere. Now, what happened? First, Ineos goes to Arsenal and snap up Gary O'Driscoll, who was there, the doctor there, head of sports science. He was snatched from there. Then he went to Manchester City, snatched the CEO Omar Berada. We thought he was done with the big clubs. Went to the smaller ones as well, snatched up Jason Wilcox from Southampton. That's from the Championship. Went to Newcastle United, tries to get out Dan Ashworth. He's laid a bit with Dan Ashworth, but he's saying, I'm not giving up. Now, guess what? He's back to London now, to Arsenal, and he has convinced Jordan Rees, who is a physio, to come join his former boss, Gary O'Driscoll, as the guys who are going to try and improve the sports and science medical department at Manchester United. Guys, Sir Jim Ratcliffe will do anything. He's willing to go the extra mile to ensure that things work for Manchester United. Honestly, I feel like this is a ruthless style. The way he slides is so ruthless that you cannot be going to clubs and getting their best guys from left, right, and center. It is said that Arsenal, first of all, tried to convince Gary O'Driscoll to stay, and he refused. He was there for more than a decade, a very trusted general in the team. Probably they got bored and sought a new challenge. So did this Jordan Rees feel? Mikel Arteta felt like with the process they've been building, you needed a strong medical department that's solid. So they were trying to talk to him to stay, but the man said, I'm joining my former boss. I'm convinced. I'm seeking a new challenge, and this is exactly what I want to do. The Sir Jim effect is there, and it's beginning to be felt and seen. And guys, you might look at it and think, the most important thing are the players and what have you. Clearly, the biggest problem at Man United has not been the players per se. Yes, the players became a problem, but it was a problem caused by everyone around them. The doctors were wrong, the recruiters were wrong. So the players and the managers will be the last ones to blame. Why? Because the players did not bring themselves to Manchester United. Two, the players do not treat themselves when they are injured. So in the review, they realized that they had the wrong medical department, who had no clue about what they were doing. I think they were behind time. They were not keeping themselves on top of their game to try and know what are the new methods when it comes to sports science. What are the new training methods? How do players cool down properly? The physios were not up to speed with what is going on in the modern game today. And that's exactly why Ineos have been quick to move for the best in the world, because Gary O'Driscoll at Arsenal and now Jordan Rees have been the Arsenal medical team has been rated among the best in England for quite a long time. So it's clear now that Ineos, I think, have identified the problems. We kept talking about the problems around the manager, and we spoke mostly about the structure, but the personnel are so important. So this is part of what they're doing now. All this is being done to try and show you that their idea. I said it here before that Ineos are working from outside in. They are working before. That's why they are taking their time with Eric Ten Hag. Before they get to the manager, they want to first get to the gist of the matter from outside. All these people surrounding the manager, as they keep coming and closing in and closing in, and then they will decide whether to keep him or not. After changing everything around him, putting the structure right, it will be clear. And by the way, whether he will be the right man for it will be obvious. After cleaning from the CEO, then changing the structure, bringing in the right sporting director, technical director, bringing in the right recruitment team, bringing in the right doctor. As you cage in and close in onto the manager, it becomes clear whether he's the right one or not. It will be an easy decision to keep or sack Eric Ten Hag by the time they get to him. That's why they're taking their time. They're cleaning and cleaning. I think it is what? I think it is as if approaching it by elimination method. I think I would call that elimination method. You know how we used to attack those multiple choice questions by the elimination method, where you had so many almost tight similar answers, but you just had now to eliminate one after the other. I think it was the best way to pass multiple choice questions. Have options all seeming almost similar. Instead of looking for the right answer, eliminate, approach by elimination method. I think that is what Ineos are doing, and it is looking like an effective approach because it zeroes down you to an obvious answer. So that's what they're doing, closing in on Eric Ten Hag because they are sorting issues around them. The injury situation that has been glaring has been top of the review. They have been looking for the problem first of all and try to find the right solution for it. It may not be obvious, but part of the problems they feel, of course, the lack of up to date physios or medical team, but also the lack of the facilities themselves. I think Cristiano Ronaldo said it himself. The Man United gym to him was surprisingly, old school, old fashioned, and he thought, for a club like Man United, how is it that the gym is as I left it decades ago? So the other thing that they have found out is the training methods of Eric Ten Hag, and that's where Eric Ten Hag could come in. That maybe his training methods are not good for a certain level of players in a certain level of league. For example, the training methods of Eric Ten Hag that are so intense might make sense for clubs in a less intense league where they play fewer times. That is one, like Ajax, with with a smaller intensity. But in a league like the Premier League, which is the highest intensity, Onana said the Premier League is bigger than the Champions League. The intensity of the Premier League is different. More so at Man United, if you're going to play in the FA Cup, play in the League Cup, play in the Champions League, then every Saturday you have a game to play. Every weekend, at times you have games within the week. It is high intensity, and the style of the game, you have the best players in the world. The training methods rather have got to be kept at a certain level. So they have realized as well that maybe the training methods of Eric Ten Hag have contributed to the so many injuries. Now, that is where he could be questioned. Is he willing to change his training methods to be able to have a fit squad? Because even if they change the medical department, if the training methods are the same, and remember at some point players complained about them, and of course you can say these players were lazy and what have you, but I've already said, guys, this league demands different. The intensity of this league is so high, so high. He tried to adjust a bit because players were having more days off. I think by the time we ended the second round of the season, we saw players having more days off. But the reality is, his training methods have got to be adjusted to suit the players and the league. You remember with Mauricio Pochettino and Tottenham, you remember at some point they were almost beginning to be hit by injuries, but players were complaining about his training methods and how intense they were. I think he had even players working in firestones at some point as part of his training methods, and you're thinking this is way too much given the intensity of the league itself. So you're training so hard and then you're playing so many games. They are humans. Their bodies have got rest. So the easy thing will be these players will end up falling off one after the other because of injuries. So this is part of what they came up, they discovered in this review that's still ongoing. But before they get to the decision on Eric Ten Hag, which might be soon because, of course, they are, I think, beginning to get done with most of the other things around him. The assistants, the managers, I think we will be hearing next about Steve McLaren, whether he's staying or not. But I think they're beginning to zero down on the manager, on him. But first, the idea was let us first sort everything around him. Now, of course, the implications of this will be there that they might delay a little bit and we might lose out on certain players. Like Sesko now, it is said that I think Arsenal is I think a clear front runners to take him. But the thing is, I still think Arsenal will get Ivan Toney. I still think unless something changed. I thought Arsenal wanted and have been consistently in need of Ivan Toney. They have been following and monitoring him. But if not, Sesko is the other player. They probably might want two strikers, but Sesko is the other player that I think they seem to be in the lead for now. But the implications of Ineos taking their time to first sort the things around the manager before they get to the manager are there. But you see, if you're going to change things for the greater good, it's okay. We can be a little patient with them, sort the biggest issues, because we all know, me and you agree that Eric Ten Hag is the least of problems at Man United right now. So if they are sorting everything around him first before they get to his job and make a decision later about his job after sorting everything around him, I think that is a smart approach. The thing is, we United supporters also don't want to, to step onto the brakes a bit at times and say, you know what, let's first chill a bit and let the process go on in a more, organic way. We United supporters put some of these people under bigger pressure than they should. For example, the fans who are writing a letter, we've known that we are focusing on Eric Ten Hag, forgetting that Ineos have got to first deal with the problems around Eric Ten Hag, and they have been clear. And they couldn't have dealt with some of these problems when the season was ongoing. So the season has just ended. They need this time to first now sort the problems around him. Ineos clearly said it, and we believe it, that one of they have got to first sort the structure, the issues around the manager before they get to the manager. He's the list of the problems. So we cannot be rushing them to give us a decision on the manager before we've given them the time to sort the problems around the manager. And this is what they're doing. The injuries are not a problem of the manager, it's the medical team. Now they are bringing in the right medical guy. That is work. So there are people out there, and I know the impatient people will go out there and start shouting, hey, Ineos is not working. They're delaying us. We are losing out on players. But guys, these things are not events. These things are processes. Managing an institution like this from a deep rot that it was in to where it's supposed to be, things are not normal no more for Manchester United. We need to give Ineos time to correct the wrongs around the club, the unseen wrongs. We see the problems on the surface, but the engraved problems behind, the roots of the problems that are unseen, are the things that they need to sort first before now we come and hear the popular or unpopular decision on whether or not they are keeping Eric Ten Hag. For me, honestly, with what I'm seeing coming up, I think Ineos is working, and in Ineos, I trust. I've been seeing hashtags beginning to trend, Ineos out, and what have you. People going back to Glazers out. These abuses, they will take us nowhere, because we might, if we need to trust Ineos to a certain level. They did not pay their billions of pounds to earn a small portion of the club, which is the most core portion of the club, to just come and keep listening to noise of supporters. I think we need to give them some bit of time, because clearly, as we've all known, there are bigger issues to solve before getting to the manager. Whereas, yes, there could be implications of us taking long to decide on the manager. I think we can take them, but the bigger problem is being solved for the greater good. Anytime they sack the manager, we will be able to get the right manager to come and work in a good structure. If they choose to keep him, anytime they keep him, if they have not sorted the things around him, even if they came out and announced that Eric Ten Hag is staying, we are backing him, it wouldn't make sense, would it? So I think for me, that's what you've got to do. Be patient, because Ineos is working. So Arsenal, yes, we are beginning. See, they might feel like because they are finishing second, they are bigger than Man U. Guys, we are poaching your people from you. Man City, you're the so-called best club in the world right now, but you cannot even hold on to your former director of football operations. If he's going to a club that's struggling, it shows you that Manchester United still has got the allure for top guys in football, including players. They will come, but first, let us first get the right people in to support the manager and the player, so that when they come, it's a seamless flow. And trust you me, we will be unstoppable. This is Ineos and their marginal gains. I told you marginal gains means changing a little about so many different things. So you change 30 things. If you change a little, but in 30 departments, the collective impact of those changes is what we will see in 3 years, according to Ineos's promise. So guys, in Ineos, we trust. My name is Webb. This is the United Horse Sport. Subscribe, and don't you feel sorry for us, no? They never feel sorry for us, do they?